Hi guys, Jace from Workabee here. Welcome to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at recruitment agencies. What are the different types? How do you register? How do they make their money? And some key things to be aware of when you're looking for work in the UK. So let's dive straight into it. So in the UK, you'll tend to have two different types of recruitment agencies, and there may be some crossover with some agencies doing a bit of both. But essentially, on one hand, you've got permanent recruiters, permanent agencies who specialise in finding candidates for permanent roles with their clients. And then on the other hand, you have temp agencies. And essentially the key difference between the two is with a permanent agency, you become an employee of their client. So the business that you go for the interview with, you will become an employee of that business from the first day that you start with them. You don't become an employee of the agency. Whereas with a temp agency, when you register, you will become an employee of that recruitment business, so of that agency, and then they will offer you assignments at various different clients, or perhaps just one client. You go out, you do the work under the supervision and control of the site that you're working at, but you're still an employee of that agency, and they are responsible for doing all your right to work checks, registration, your contract is with them, and they're responsible for obviously paying you as well. Now, the registration process for both is probably going to be fairly similar in most cases. So I imagine for the vast majority of people, they find work by going onto a job board, so somewhere like Indeed or Reed or Monster, Total Jobs, whichever one it may be. And when you apply for a job on there, it should say whether you have applied for a permanent vacancy or a temporary position. And our temporary doesn't necessarily mean just the odd day here and there or part-time, anything like that. A lot of the work that we do is long-term ongoing, and also you may see on there what is called as temp to perm. Now, permanent is obvious, as I mentioned, you become a permanent employee. I've mentioned temp as well. Temp to perm is kind of a crossover between the two, so you'll start off becoming an employee of the recruitment business. They will send you out on an assignment to one of their clients on a temp to perm basis, so you'll be there for a set period of time, perhaps, so whether it's 12 weeks, something like that. Once you've reached a certain milestone in the length of time you've been with there, then that client, the site that you're working at, can offer you a contract, a permanent contract, so a permanent job with them at that point. Now, what we do, we work with all of our clients, and it's completely free of charge for them to offer you a contract. We don't put any barriers in the way, and once you've essentially worked there for 12 weeks in the majority of cases, they offer you a contract, you transfer over. And it's a good way for you to quickly find work, you to quickly get started somewhere and make sure you like it as well. And also it's a good way for the client to try workers before they offer them the permanent contract. And essentially they outsource all of the recruitment, all of the admin, all of the time involved in signing people up, right to work checks, to the recruitment agency. And obviously they know that once people have reached that set period of time, they kind of know that they're hopefully decent at the job, and that's why they're offering them the contract. Now, how do each type make their money? So this is where it does differ significantly. So with a permanent recruiter, you'll tend to find either one or two things. So they will either charge on a placement by placement basis. So their client phones them up and says, we've got this position we want to fill, find us some candidates. They'll do all the work, submit some candidates who they think will be good for that role. The client will then interview them, hopefully offer the job to one of them, and if that person's successful and they accept the position, then they'll start as a permanent employee on day one, and the agency will then charge their client a percentage. It's usually a percentage of the new starters' starting salary and remunerations at that point, and it'll be a one-off charge, perhaps with a rebate period. So if that person leaves within the first 4, 6, 8, 12 weeks, whatever it may be, then they'll credit some of that money back to them. You also find with permanent recruiters that sometimes they work on a retention basis, which will be the business pays their client pays them a certain amount each month to fill all of the positions they have. So they'll charge a flat fee, and it doesn't matter whether they've got 10 positions to fill or one, they'll be doing the work for all of those at the same time. You tend to find that with a lot bigger businesses. Now, on the other hand, with temporary agencies, that is in some ways a lot more simple. So essentially, if just for example from a candidate's perspective, when you apply for a job, on that job ad you'll see a set rate. At the moment it's the living wage is £10.42 an hour. In April it's going up to £11.44, so perhaps we'll take that as an example. So on the job ad you see your hourly pay rate is £11.44 an hour. Now on top of that pay, which the agency pay you for every hour you work, the agency will also have to pay employers' national insurance to HMRC. They also have to pay employers' pension contributions, You also accrue holiday pay as you work, which the agency owes you as well. So this all goes on top of the pay, plus the agency's margin, and they will charge an hourly rate to their client, which essentially includes your pay, your holiday pay, which you're owed, all the tax, pension, national insurance, and pension, plus their margin, and it's charged on an hourly basis. That is essentially the difference. If you want to check out some more information in our channel, there's some information in there about how holiday pay works for agency staff. If you're looking to work, I suggest speaking to your local agencies. You'll tend to find permanent recruiters specialise in a sector, so you may have one for accounts, for example, or engineering, whichever it may be. Whereas a lot of temporary agencies, although there are some that specialise, you tend to find more generalists. So if you're looking for work, I suggest reaching out to your local agencies. Make sure you check out them on Google to make sure they've got good reviews. And if you're in Kent and you're looking for work, you can check on our website for all the vacancies which we're currently trying to fill. And you're always welcome to pick up the phone. We can do registrations. 99% of registrations remotely, digitally, with just the right to work check depending on what documents you've got in person. So I hope that's useful. Any questions, just leave them in the comments below, and as always, we'll answer them when they come through. So thank you very much, and bye for now.